Fish and Chums!
Hi everybody, old Gare here with my buddy Tuffy. We're getting ready to take a road trip, so we're doing this show a little bit early this week. We're out here on the shorelines of Table Rock Lake near my home, and it's absolutely beautiful. This is we're taking the show on Tuesday, way earlier than normal, but we still have some good reports for you, no doubt about it. Some good fishing over the weekend. Have very good reports from Table Rock. Walleye being caught over the past weekend, some nice bass. Over at Bull Shoals, boy, we had good reports of topwater fishing over the weekend and some really nice walleye caught. Over at Stockton, the white bass have been surfacing out there. A lot of fun doing this. A few walleye were caught. And of course, Truman, some nice crappie are being taken out there with their summer pattern. So we've got a lot to talk about on the Big Little Show today. And I want to start the show off with my best buddy, my best friend. It's our anniversary. My buddy Brandon, he edits the show, and he's a great little fishing guy. He's a great fisherman. And the first time I took him fishing 4 years ago out at Table Rock, within 15 minutes, I'll tell you, let me set this up. He was using a little ultralight crappie rod of mine with 4-pound test, and we were fishing off a point. And I put a night crawler with the hook and just put it down right above the thermocline in about 30 feet of water. And I'd been catching some spotted bass in this area, and I thought for his first fishing trip, it'll be fun for him to catch a few spotted bass. So it wasn't no time. I heard this guy grunting in the back of the boat, and I looked, and his rod is doubled right into the water. I thought, oh my gosh. At first, I thought he must be hung up in a tree, because I put this bait right by a tree because I spotted a few fish in that tree. And no, that thing, the drag was going out, and I said, Brandon, just step back just a little bit. You got a pretty nice fish on there. I figured a 3 or 4 pound bass, but he battled it. He did a great job. What a pro he was on his first huge fish. Anyway, cut the story short, Brandon, look at this picture here. I've showed it last year or two, but look at this. 4 years ago, he picked up a 13-pound plus walleye. Hey, that's a giant. I don't know, folks, what the record is on Table Rock, but I would say at his age, when he was 11 years old when he caught this fish, he may hold the world record for an 11-year-old catching a 13-pound walleye. Wouldn't be surprised at all. So congratulations, my friend, my best friend, Brandon. What a deal. What a fish. Look at that fish. It's just awesome. And a couple days later we went fishing, and he said, well, Gary, I wonder if I can catch a bigger walleye than I did the other day. And I said, hey, I tell you what, Brandon, I know I used to fish a lot of pro walleye tournaments. I had a lure company that specialized in walleye lures. I had TV shows on walleye. I did clinics and seminars on walleye all over the country. And the point is, Brandon, I know great walleye fishermen, including, well, I'm pretty good walleye fisherman, this guy that's never caught a 13-pound walleye. I kidded him. I said, I know guys that would kill for that fish. Jokingly, of course. Congratulations. 4 years ago, buddy, over a 13-pound walleye. What do you say, Tuffy? Okay, I'll let you down. All right, let's get with the reports. We've had pretty good reports on Table Rock out here. The bass are really scattered in different areas. As I mentioned on last week's program, check the long runs out. Anywhere 15, 18, 25, 35, 30 feet of water. Drop shot fishing's still good. Spoon fishing's good. If they're not there, go to the humps. Go to the islands, I show you the humps, and of course the flats. But the key out here on Table Rock is finding the bait fish. You have to find the bait fish. So you just may have to go one point, one hilltop, one flat to another until you find the bait fish. Once you find the bait fish, you're going to catch fish. Drop shot fishing. The other day, I tell you what, that natural, I mentioned it last week's program, that natural colored worm, a plastic worm about 4 inches, looked like a night crawler, something in there. Boy, they're really biting that good. Plum, again, is also good. And they've been picking up more fish around the deeper docks. Football jigs have been working with your favorite trailer. and some surfacing action, but not as good as it has been lately. But always have a rod connected with the topwater bait, because you never know when they're going to come up. You might have some good fun. And grub fishing, by the way, is good. And don't overlook out here at Table Rock the Ned rig. If you pick a day it was real quiet, nothing's going on, they're just barely pecking at that drop shot worm, they don't want to spoon. Hey, if all else fails, go to the Ned rig. Boy, we've caught some really nice fish on the Ned rig out here. All right, other than that, the crappie, or few crappie caught over the weekend. They seem to be on the deeper drop-offs, anywhere from, 18 to 28, 30 feet of water. You get a good crankbait that will get down there. Some people have been using bottom bouncers with night crawlers, and some people have been using spoons. And I mentioned on last week's program, hey, I tell you, that little George tail spinner bait will catch them when nothing else will. Try that. All right, let's go to Taneycomo. They've been running a little bit of water out there. Here a week ago, they released they stocked, I should say, from the hatchery, some really nice sized rainbow. And these are really showing up out at Taneycomo. And when they're running water, just use orange or a white power egg, or spoons, little jigs, as I mentioned. And some people have been trolling crankbaits, and other people have been using jerkbaits. Whatever, there should be a pretty good bite at Taneycomo for the upcoming weekend. All right, let's go out to Bull Shoals. Boy, I had a friend that was out there on Saturday. He was out at dark 30, and he had a couple real nice fish on buzz baits. And then after the sun come up a little bit, they were kind of swiping at it, wouldn't take it. He went to a pop-R type bait and picked up a couple more. Topwater fishing continues to be pretty good at Bull Shoals in the early morning hours. Some people are going out in the evening and picking up some fish as well on topwater. Other than that, the bluff ends, try your drop shots, try some spoons, and they've been picking up some fish on small bill crankbaits, kind of a square bill crankbaits, what I want to say. Look at that. And by the way, getting back to the topwater, seems like getting back into the mouth of the coves. It's got some brush and a little bit of timber. Pitch that out, bounce that off that timber and brush. That's how they're catching those nice fish on a buzz bait early in the morning. Few crappie are being caught at Bull Shoals, deep water brush piles, 15, 18, 20, 22 feet of water. And around some of the shaded dock, a few crappie are showing up. And so the docks, so look at the crappie fishing out there. Walleye fishing, hey, I had a buddy out the other day in the Oakland area, picked up 3 real nice fish by just getting in there. They caught one on a drop shot type thing with a night crawler. They picked up one on a bottom bouncer with a night crawler, and they picked 2 of these good fish up on spoons. So walleye fishing in the Lead Hill area on those flats, on the edge of the flats, have been working, and the Oakland area. Anywhere down around K-Dock, try those points this weekend. Might pick yourself up some nice walleye. Okay, let's go over to Stockton Reservoir, Stockton Lake. Boy, I tell you what, there's been some real good fishing out there for white bass. They've been picking up the fish surfacing in the morning hours, in the afternoon, evening hours. Look at my buddy Aaron. He had his daughters out. Yesterday on Monday and Sunday and Monday, and they really caught some real nice white bass. Look at these white. Look at this young lady. Boy, did they catch them. He had a video, I wasn't able to show it, but it had 3 of them had a triple on, and a few times they had doubles on. So, boy, he was catching fish on spoons, and also that little George. Good going, Aaron. Hey, I love that little George. And so good white bass fishing out at Stockton. Few walleye caught over the past weekend. Wasn't real great, but they picked some fish up on the flats, bottom bouncers, night crawlers, trolling, and crankbaits. Few crappie have been caught in the deep water brush piles on the flats. Check this out. Over at Truman, I want to start off, I want to say Brent. Brent was out the other day, just a couple days ago, and picked up these nice crappie on a flat at Truman. The crappie fishing continues to be good. I've said it many times on the program. I think Truman Lake is one of the top hot, warm weather crappie lakes in the country. Boy, we just always catch crappie out there in the warmer parts of the day, warmer parts of the month. And so they're using your electronics, going through the flats, finding the schools of shad, and especially if you can find shad around brush piles or timber, you're going to catch some crappie. Minnows seems to be the best bet overall, and they've been picking up some fish on the tree rows and the cedar trees. I love to fish those cedar trees this time of the year. Get down there and float a minnow down the edge of the cedar trees, or jigging minnows. Boy, it can be real good. Other than that, Truman, they've been picking up some fish on some white bass. They've been surfacing out there in the evening, morning hours. Check this out. Over the humps, they're still taking some real nice hybrids out there on the points and humps. And as I mentioned last week, just get up early in the morning and get out there on the shoreline. You don't have to get up that early. Just use a small hook with a little bit of a night crawler. Get out there and pick up some small perch. Pick up a few small perch, and then go out and hook them with a bigger hook. Get out there on the hilltops, humps, points, find with your electronics, find those hybrids, and you can have yourself a ball by using live perch, I promise you. And they've been picking up a few walleye out there as well. Berry Bend area, the KK Islands, your favorite walleye spots, check that out. They're still catching some real nice fish, some nice walleye up out at Truman. Okay, let's go quickly. Let's go to Norfolk Lake. They've been picking up some fish out there, kind of like the same pattern on back in the mouth of the coves. They've been catching some walleye where it drops off in some of the brush piles. You may have to go 25, 35 feet of water on spoons or night crawlers. And we've had some reports of some white bass being caught out there as well. And by the way, Lake of the Ozarks, to finish this thing up, I had a buddy from Kansas City out there the other day. I think it was on Saturday. He picked up a limit of fish. He said it was slow in the morning, but he kept hitting the drop-offs at the edge of the flats, edge of the points, till he found that perfect brush pile down around 18 feet of water. Picked up a nice limit of crappie. Well, that's it for the day from the shores of Table Rock Lake. It's absolutely gorgeous out here today. Got a little breeze. It looks like it's going to be a pretty good weekend for the upcoming weekend, but hey, here we are in the dog days of August, and for the dog days of August, hey, it's pretty good fishing overall. Have yourself a nice upcoming weekend. Get out and get bit, and be sure to like and share, and be sure to subscribe. Boy, we had a lot of new subscribers this past week. Thank you guys, and be sure to send us an email on your fishing adventures or some photos. We really appreciate it. Just go to fishingchums@gmail.com. God bless you all. Hey, we'll check you next week. Get out and get bit. Happy outdoors, everyone.